วัสดีค่ะ Hallo, ich bin Ellie und ich bin 16 Jahre alt. Ich möchte heute zu euch über Angst sprechen. Und ich weiß ziemlich gut, dass jeder Ängste hat. Deswegen ist dieses Thema sehr bekannt. Es gibt große Ängste, zum Beispiel die Angst vor dem Tod oder davor, jemanden Geliebten zu verlieren. Aber es gibt auch kleine Ängste. Zum Beispiel haben viele Leute Angst davor, zu dem Zahnarzt zu gehen oder mit dem Flugzeug zu fliegen. This was my speech in German. As you can see, speaking German is really easy for me. But here's the tough part. The same thing again in English. Hi, I'm Ellie and I'm 16 years old. Today, I would like to talk about fear, a subject which everybody knows pretty well. There are big fears, the fear of death or of losing someone you love. But there are also small fears, like going to the dentist or traveling by plane. Do you know Felix Baumgartner? He's an Austrian skydiver, and a few years ago, he went into a capsule, and then he went up into space, and then he jumped 39 kilometers. In an interview, he said that he was very afraid. Well, I totally see his point. But you know what? Everybody of us has this point of 39 kilometers. Every one of us is afraid of one thing, and overcoming this fear almost feels like jumping down from space. Two of the things that I am afraid of the most are speaking English and speaking in front of people, especially Americans. I'm just so scared of being misunderstood or awkward. And I'm even afraid of speaking English in front of my friends. One time, I remember this, I wanted to tell them something about an English song I had heard, but they just didn't understand the name of the song. So I had to repeat it 4 times. And whenever there was a situation like this, it was so awkward for me. So if speaking English is one of my biggest fears, why am I here? Well, I'm here today because I want to talk about some of my ways to handle fear. And I know that everybody of you is afraid of something too. So I would like to encourage you and to be a living proof that it's not impossible to win over your fears. But it's also a challenge to start fighting against your fears today. So the very first step is to stop feeling ashamed of your faults. You should start facing them. They are not bad, and actually, nobody is as stupid as they think they are. Fears are a chance to grow. Nobody can be a hero if he has nothing to fight against. So stop running away from it. Now I'm going to divide fears into 2 groups. The first group is the justified fears. Fears that are threatening you. For example, when your doctor told you that you have a brain tumor and you've got only 2 weeks left and then you'll die. Of course you're afraid. And that's absolutely justified because this brain tumor is life-threatening for you. Or you're walking down the street and suddenly there's a big dog that's barking at you. It's just natural that you're afraid of this dog because it's scary. My fear of speaking English was justified too because it was just the fact that my English was not very great. So if you really have a good reason to have your fear, you should think about a solution, like something you can do to improve the situation. As I already said, running away is not very helpful. So what I did to solve my English problem was to find a way to force myself to listen to English the entire day. My dad helped me to find a nice American family in Nan, which is a few hours from ChiangMai, and they were willing to take me in for summer break. So I tried to be a self-confident, outspoken American for 5 weeks. And after a few days, I already could see a change. I was less and less afraid of speaking. I could finally say something without thinking about my sentence structure or grammar first. And I even began to think in English. But this was not the only surprising result. I also found new friends, and it was a very good experience for me to live apart from my family for a while. I became more independent. So, if your fear is justified, think of a way to fight. But what if it's not? This is the second group of fears, the unjustified fears. Fears that you just have without knowing why. For example, when you're afraid of spiders or heights or snakes. So what can you do to overcome those fears? Well, I already mentioned that I was afraid that people would laugh at me or think meanly about me. And I know that some people probably did, or even still do. There is always someone that doesn't like you. But why are you afraid of these people? And why am I afraid of them? I believe that every fear has a deeper reason. As for me, it's that I want everybody to like me and I want to satisfy everyone. I just can't take it when someone is mad at me. So as a consequence, I didn't want anybody to think bad about me or my English. My friends actually didn't care how my English was, but still I was so scared of being awkward. And by the way, that's the reason why I decided one day never to say anything in English again, ever. Well, since every fear is different, there's not one way to handle it. But it might be helpful to find out where your fear comes from, so that you can fight against the root of the problem, like I did by visiting a real American family. I found the second very effective way to overcome those unjustified fears. Just do it. Just do the things you're actually afraid of. This is a good solution to grow in courage, especially for languages. Use it or lose it. When I was with this American family, of course I was forced to listen to English the whole day. But I could have been silent the entire time, so these 5 weeks wouldn't have helped me much. So I really tried to say something without being asked. Sometimes it happened exactly as I feared. I made such stupid mistakes, or my grammar was a whole mess. And believe me, I felt terrible and I thought I was going to die. But you know what? Nobody laughed at me. Seriously, everyone tried to help me to find the right word to explain the grammar to me, just to make me feel more comfortable. Those situations were not a big deal, but you can transfer the experience that I made also to big things. I forgot this point, I'm sorry. Well, there are not as many mean people around you as you think. There are also nice people, and people that like to encourage you. Those people are beautiful from the inside when they see that you are really trying and that you are serious about overcoming your fear. They won't laugh at you. Instead of hiding from the things you're afraid of, you could fight against it with their help, and you could win. But when you make the experience that someone makes mean jokes at you, you should remember all those nice people that didn't laugh at you but were willing to help you. And you should realize this is an important lesson to learn. Be nice. Just treat others as you want to be treated too. Every one of you who's Thai, I guess you know my fear of speaking English pretty well. But let me tell you, it's not different for Germans or Americans when we have to speak Thai. Do you actually know how difficult those Thai tones are? What I'm just trying to say is that even though Germans are different than Americans, are different than Thai people, the way we are afraid of something is the same. and so are our fears. So it's very important that we show each other, hey, I know exactly how you feel, and that we try to help them just as you want to get help from them too. So we've now learned that people, for example friends, but also strangers, can help you to overcome your fear by communication or just by giving you a smile. But I think it could also help you when you have something else you can depend on. Something that's not going to change, even if you're going to fail or even to die. For me, it's my spiritual belief. It helps me to know that there's someone bigger than me and that He is stronger than everything that seems to be overwhelming to me. And my religion also showed me that love is the opposite of fear. And that's absolutely true. I want you to think about it for a second. When your friends love you, they will help you. When you love somebody else, I'm pretty sure you do anything to help, even if it scares you. Now I'm done, but I want to thank you very much for listening to me, and I also want to thank all of my friends and my English teacher and my family, because without those wonderful people, I wouldn't be on this stage now. And last but not least, I want to thank my nice, real American family for being so patient with me. Now I'm really done, and I'm still alive.